Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about my plan for world peace. If you want to know more about it, the plan is actually on my page. It's on my YouTube page. I'm Lulu216, and the name of the video is I Bring Gifts, Bail Out for Humanity. It's about a 7-minute video, and it pretty much has a sweet and condensed version of this. It's small, it's short, and it pretty much touches on all the basics. There's a little bit more to it than that. I think the only thing I left out was the $1 million that I plan on getting everybody for retirement. So instead of $2 million, it's $3 million that I want you to have. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason behind that. It's not like I just want everybody to have money just because. It's because the reality is we're not ever going to have world peace unless we all have something to start with. We need to be able to ensure the future of humanity. And the best way to do that is by giving everybody something to start with and letting them grow, letting them have what they need and get what they want so they can do what they want with their lives in a productive way. This is actually common sense. I don't understand why people are wanting to fight this whole thing. And it's the one thing that people have the biggest problem with about my plan when I tell them that I want you to have $2 million. Because everybody wants the money. Everybody wants money. But the minute you tell people that you want them to have $2 million, all of a sudden they get scared. It's like, oh no, people are not going to want to work for it. They're not going to do anything. They're going to be a bunch of freeloaders and nothing's going to happen. Well, some of that is partially true, but it actually works out in the end because mass production really is a problem in our society, and we need to slow down on that. So if a few people decide to just live off the land and try to not be as wasteful as possible, that's not really a bad thing. I'm all for it. I'm all for people being self-sustainable. As a matter of fact, my ultimate goal is for everybody to be self-sustainable. That's the whole purpose of this money, is for you to be able to live without having to depend on other people, on the government, or anybody else to give you a handout. You start off with something, and you create something with it. Now, I know it's going to be like people, oh, well, you give people $1 million, they're going to want to waste it all. So I have a system where, well, I don't have a system, but there is going to be a system in place once we create world peace. And the system will work like this. You will get a first million when you're born, and more than likely it would be in payments. That way, in case your parents are kind of, bad parents or whatever, they can't blow all your money and leave you with nothing, and you're still in the same situation that you are now. So you get it all in payments, that way in partial payments all throughout a certain age, until we feel you're old enough to handle more money, which is, I'm assuming will be like a medium age, like maybe 21, 24, somewhere around there, where you will get another $1 million, and this will be for your future. This will be the money that you will get to pretty much do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. You want to be a mechanic, you can go to school for that. You can, own your own business. You can work for the government, or you can just use this money to be self-sustainable. Whatever you choose to do, at least you have something there for you to help you move forward. Excuse me. So, you have that. You start off with the first million in payments, and you get the second million when you reach a certain age. And then, as a safety precaution for retirement, you get another million. And the reason I included that, well, I didn't include it in the first plan, but I added it onto it, is because I have friends who advocate for the elderly, because sometimes when they go to nursing homes, they're mistreated, and they can't afford to have good, affordable housing. And so I still want to care for the elderly, and I feel it's important. And just because you might have failed in the other part, with the other money, that doesn't mean we're just going to turn our back on you and just leave you there hanging, especially when you need it the most, when you're old and can't take care of yourself. You're definitely going to need it then. So we definitely want to help people then. So then that's basically the whole idea of the money. I want to give you $1 million for when you're born, another $1 million when you reach a certain age, so you can create a business or whatever you like, and then another $1 million when you retire. That way you'll have a comfortable retirement. The other part that people don't understand. Well, actually, I don't ever get to explain this part of it. The other part that people don't really like to, that I don't ever really get to explain, is the fact that we need to create a cap off. That means that after a certain amount of money, you can't make any more money. And with that money, that extra money that you make, let's say, which right now I have it about 3 billion. So 3 million is what you get. 3 billion is the most you can make. And once you get the 3 billion mark, what it does, it goes recycles back into a fund. And out of this fund is where we're going to get the money to give everybody else money. And what this does is create a recycling economy. Now, the benefits of recycling economy is that there is no inflation and there is no deflation, because the prices stay constant, because there's no point in raising prices of things, because even if you do, you're not going to be able to keep that much money. Once you get the cap off, that's all you're allowed to get, and it's just going to have to go back into the money. So there's no point in raising prices just for the fun of it. And then you have to put this in there, and because it is a safety measure. Because if you just give everybody $2 million, then automatically the first thing that's going to happen is inflation. Inflation will go through the roof if everybody has money. So in order to keep inflation from happening, we need to limit how much money everybody else can have. Well, everybody can have. Not everybody else, but just everybody can have. So this way, now we keep it at a median. Now it's no longer, the way it is now. Another thing that it helps with is the evil forces that be. There's people who control the world. And the reason these people are able to control the world is because they have all the money. Now, if we take that from them, they are less likely to be able to use that money to make people do the things that they do. Right now, they can just hire somebody to kill somebody, and it's nothing to them because they have plenty of money. They can have 10 people killed, they can have 100 people killed. It doesn't matter to them, it's just money. They have plenty of it. But if we take it away from them, that gives them less of an incentive. Now, they're going to have to watch their payments. Now they're going to have to watch how much they spend, especially if they want to live the lifestyle that they like to live, like they're used to living. And, they live pretty lavish lifestyles. None of us get to live like that. And I also don't think that's fair. So that is why it is important to have a cap off, because it'll stop the evil forces that be, which is the 1%. And it's also there as a safety measure so that inflation does not impede the peace process. Now that is the main part of my peace plan. Well, it's the hardest part for people to understand. Now, I don't want to just give you, the money and say, okay, go on your merry way and do whatever you want. No, there's also guidelines. Now, this is one of the things that, this is one of our selling points to the government. It's like, you give us this money and this is what we're willing to do. And we're willing to live by these guidelines. Now, these guidelines are simple and there's only 4 of them. And they are important because they basically help you make better decisions. That's basically what they're there for. Anytime you're faced with a major decision, all you have to do is look at the guidelines and you can basically make your decision based on that. And if you're not violating any of the guidelines, then you're pretty much good. Now, the guidelines are simple. The first one is respect all. Respect life, property, and yourself. It's that hard to understand that, just learn to be respectful. It's not that difficult. Of course, there may be some gray areas, but you know what? You apologize and you move on. The point is that you live your life trying to respect people. You do your best to respect. The second guideline is kill only out of necessity. That means kill only for food, shelter, or self-defense. Now, the reason I phrased it like this is because I always had a problem with the 10 Commandments, because they had that one commandment said, thou shalt not kill. And yes, I get it. You're not supposed to kill people. I get it. You're not supposed to kill. But it always upset me because it didn't acknowledge the fact that we kill animals every day. We kill every day. In order for you to live, something else must die. And I feel that it's left out when you say thou shalt not kill, because it makes you not even take into consideration that you are killing. So I want you to keep it present in your mind that you are killing something every day, whether it's an animal or a plant. I mean, plants are living beings too. Just because they don't feel pain doesn't mean that they're not alive. So that's the reason I have that guideline in there, because I want people to understand that something is being sacrificed for your present. And also, I also want to take into account that we need to treat our animals better. You know, I like eating meat. I love eating steak. I'm not going to say, hey, we shouldn't eat steak. But instead, I would like for you to treat the cows and the chickens and the pigs with respect. I mean, is that so hard to do? We're going to eat them anyway. Can we at least give them a good life before we consume them? It's not that much to ask. And it's only fair and it's only humane. So that is why I put that there. And I put that there on purpose because of the animals. And because I wanted you to be conscious that, you know, something is being taken from this planet. And it also ties back to the fourth guideline a little. So anyway, the third guideline is believe what you want to believe and let others do the same. And that means basically you can have your religious beliefs so long as you let other people have their religious beliefs as well. You know, this is a big issue for everybody. Everybody has their own religion, and, you know, I have my religion. I'm more of a spiritual person, but I do believe in God. And I feel very strongly about the fact that everybody has the right to find God in their own way. Even if you don't believe in God, even if you're an atheist, I feel that, you know, maybe one day you will find God. But if I try to shove it down your throat, it's just going to push you away further. So instead of me trying to push my beliefs onto you, I'd much rather let you have your own beliefs and come to God, find God in your own right. And if, you know, if you want to be atheist, be atheist. I mean, so long as you're living by the guidelines, I don't have a problem with that. You're doing what's right. I can't argue with you for not believing in my beliefs if you're doing everything else right. So that's the third guideline. Believe what you want to believe and let others do the same. The fourth guideline is give and take with moderation, or give back. And this ties back to the money and to the third guideline. It ties back to the money because we're going to give you, we're trying to get you $2 million, $3 million. And out of those $3 million, what we want is for you to do something with your future and give back either to the community, to the planet, or, you know, just whatever you want to invest in, but give back. You know, you can give, you can take, but you will be taken, and, you know, you take every day, which is how it ties back to the other guideline. You take when you eat, you know, you take when you build, you take when you put clothes on. I mean, all this comes from somewhere, so you're taking. So always make sure to remember to give back. So, and that is it. That's basically the fourth guideline. Respect all, kill only out of necessity, believe what you will and let others do the same, and give and take with moderation. Now that is the next part. That's the second part of my plan. This is the guidelines and the money. Another part of the plan is to create greenhouse towers around the world to end world hunger. Now, what are greenhouse towers? Basically, a greenhouse in layers. You know, it's temperature controlled, and you grow food in there. Whatever food you want to grow, you can grow it year round, and it's temperature controlled, so you can grow whatever you want. And what this does is end world hunger, because no longer will you have to depend on drought. Drought is no longer going to be an issue. You no longer have to be dependent on the weather or whatever. So yeah, and that's that. I mean, how hard is it to end world hunger? That's it. Create greenhouse towers and you're done. I mean, that's pretty much that. And also, the greenhouse towers pretty much pay for themselves, and they can be ran by local farmers. You know, the people who know how to grow stuff, and just let them have, you know, help build our community. So anyway, so that is that, and that is basically the main part of it. The other part is the government part, and, you know, upgrading the system. But I feel I need to make another video for that. I think it's going to be a separate video, because that's a lot of stuff, and that's one of the things that I feel that you would have to give me an input in, because there's a lot of it, and we do need to work on a lot. But I would like input on that. There's certain things that I want to work on, which is the justice system, and not just the justice system, but basically a justice system, the legal system, judicial system, all four, the three branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. So they all need to be upgraded. But I feel like to be in a different video because it's fairly extensive in what we need to discuss in that area. But the three main parts that are for the peace plan are greenhouse towers, the 4 guidelines, and $3 million. Those are the basics of it. So if you want to create world peace and you want $2 million, help me. So anyway, that's my rant for today. Help me out in creating world peace, and hopefully in 6 months from now, we can have it. Subscribe to my page. I'm Lulu216, and don't forget to check out the video I bring you the offer of humanity. It's short, and I think you'll enjoy it. And I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.